Over 300 climbers have lost their lives on Mount Everest, and nearly 200 of their bodies remain frozen in time, still lying where they fell. This place isn't just the roof of the world, it's a graveyard in the clouds. Above 8,000 meters lies the death zone, where oxygen is scarce, temperatures drop to deadly lows, and even the smallest mistake can cost a life. Every step is a gamble. Avalanches, deadly falls, altitude sickness, and sheer exhaustion silently stalk every climber who dares to ascend. In today's video, we dive into one of the most haunting stories Everest has ever witnessed, the tragic final climb of Ueli Steck. Known as the Swiss Machine, Steck was a legend. What went so terribly wrong in those final moments? And how could someone so experienced fall victim to the mountain? Stay with us, because this story is as breathtaking as it is heartbreaking. Before we dive into the sad final chapter of Ueli Steck's journey, I just want to say this. I'm a small channel sharing these incredible and often tragic stories from the world's highest peaks. If you're enjoying this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button and giving this video a like. It might seem small, but it helps a lot on the road to my first 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. And now, let's return to the mountain. Known to the world as the Swiss Machine, Ueli Steck wasn't just a climber, he was a force of nature. For years, he pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible in the mountains, redefining speed, skill, and endurance at high altitude. Born in 1976 in Switzerland's Emmental Valley, Steck's connection to the mountains began early. As a child, he showed a rare gift for endurance, playing ice hockey, and joining his father on ski tours through the Alps. The cold, the altitude, the physical strain, none of it seemed to slow him down. By his late teens, Steck was already making his mark. At just 18 years old, he conquered the north face of the Eiger, one of Europe's most dangerous climbs. It became clear. This wasn't just talent, it was an obsession for Steck. Over the next 2 decades, Ueli Steck carved his name into mountaineering history, setting speed records and completing daring first ascents all around the globe. From the Alps to the Himalayas, his feats stunned even the most seasoned climbers, earning him a reputation as one of the greatest alpinists of his generation. Steck's philosophy was simple, but brutally demanding. He believed in moving fast, light, and with absolute precision. No ropes, no room for error. His relentless discipline and mechanical efficiency earned him his now iconic nickname, the Swiss Machine. He wasn't just fast, he was unstoppable. Even when his body screamed to quit, he kept climbing. Always higher, always faster, always alone. In 2008, Steck did the unthinkable. He climbed the legendary north face of the Eiger, one of the most feared mountain walls in the world, in just 2 hours and 47 minutes. To put that into perspective, the early pioneers of mountaineering needed days to complete the same climb. Rope by rope, step by step. Steck, he flew up the face like it was a vertical racetrack, but he wasn't done. In 2015, he returned to the Eiger and shattered his own record, completing the ascent in just 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 50 seconds. A performance so precise, so fast, it defied belief. Later that same year, Steck set his sights on an even more ambitious goal, to climb all 82 peaks in the Alps, standing over 4,000 meters. But he didn't stop at just climbing them. He committed to traveling between the mountains only by foot. No cars, no helicopters, no shortcuts. Just pure human-powered endurance. 62 days, 82 peaks, thousands of vertical meters. By the end, his place in the mountaineering world was undeniable. He wasn't just a climber anymore. He was a legend in motion. By 2017, Ueli Steck was preparing for what would become his most daring challenge yet, the Everest Lhasa Traverse. The plan was ambitious. Summit Mount Everest via the rarely attempted Hornbein Couloir, an incredibly steep and unforgiving route, and then traverse the ridge to climb Lhotse, the world's 4th highest mountain. All of it would be done without supplemental oxygen. It was a plan no human had ever accomplished. A brutal combination of altitude, exposure, and technical difficulty, and Steck was determined to make history once again. In April 2017, he arrived in Nepal with his climbing partner, Tenji Sherpa, ready to begin the ascent. After arriving in Nepal, Steck and Tenji Sherpa began the long trek to Everest Base Camp, gradually acclimatizing for the climb ahead. Early setbacks soon disrupted their plan. During a supply carry to Camp 2, Tenji suffered frostbite, forcing him to stay behind and recover at base camp. Steck didn't stop. With his partner grounded, he used the extra time to scout the route and sharpen his conditioning. He soloed sections of the West Ridge, one of Everest's more technical paths, and even climbed from base camp to Camp 3 and back in a single day, a feat that takes most climbers several days. His preparation was intense, but never reckless. He understood the risks of high-altitude climbing, especially without supplemental oxygen. Still, he believed he was ready. At 40 years old, he said he was in the best shape of his life. Weeks of trail running at elevations nearing 20,000 feet had turned his body into a machine. His confidence was unshakable. Steck was also known for something else, making fast decisions. Plans could change in a heartbeat, and on Everest, that can be deadly. On April 29th, Steck sent a message to Tenji from Camp 2. He planned to climb Nuptse the following morning. It was unexpected. At 7,861 meters, Nuptse is a towering peak near Everest, but it wasn't part of their original plan. Steck had once referred to it as the dessert, a side goal to attempt after completing the Everest Lhasa Traverse. So, when he suddenly decided to climb it early, even Tenji was surprised. For Steck, it made sense. The conditions on Nuptse looked good, and it was a perfect chance to acclimatize while testing himself on a technical climb. When Tenji followed up, asking if he was going solo, Steck didn't respond. Early the next morning, on April 30th, Steck left Camp 2. Around 4:30 a.m., he began crossing a glacier with French climber Yannick Graziani, who was also attempting Everest without oxygen. The two parted ways shortly after. Graziani continued toward Camp 3. Steck turned right, toward Nuptse. As dawn broke, several climbers and Sherpas spotted him on the face of the mountain, moving fast and smooth, climbing with the same precision that had defined his entire career. And then, silence. No one knows exactly what happened next. The last sighting of Ueli Steck was just 300 meters below Nuptse's summit. Sometime later, he must have fell 900 meters, down the mountain's sheer north face. Other expeditions witnessed the fall, but couldn't say what caused it. A slip, a collapse, a hidden weakness in the ice. His body was later found between Camps 1 and 2. The news of Ueli Steck's death spread rapidly, sending shockwaves through the global climbing community. How could someone so skilled, so experienced fall? Speculation began almost immediately. Some believed he may have slipped on ice or unstable snow, a danger that haunts even the best climbers. Others suggested fatigue or a simple misstep in the thin, unforgiving air above 7,000 meters. No one truly knows. In a public statement, Steck's family expressed their grief and urged the world to wait for answers. The family is infinitely sad and asks that the media refrain from speculating about his death out of respect for Ueli. As soon as reliable information becomes available, the media will be informed. To this day, the exact cause of his fall remains a mystery. What is certain, however, is the void he left behind. Steck wasn't just a mountaineer. He was a symbol of what human endurance, focus, and passion can achieve. His death was not only a loss to climbing, but to the spirit of adventure itself. Steck wasn't just a mountaineer. He was an innovator, a visionary who redefined what was possible at high altitude and inspired an entire generation of climbers through both his achievements and his philosophy. His solo ascent of the south face of Annapurna, his speed records on the Eiger, these were not just milestones, they were legendary. And yet, behind all the records and headlines, Ueli Steck was known for something even rarer in the world of elite climbing: humility. He often gave his time and energy to mentor younger climbers, including Tenji Sherpa, who would go on to carry his lessons forward into the mountains they both loved. On that sad day, Everest claimed another life, and Everest once again showed that it doesn't care how skilled or trained you are. Steck was not the first to die on its icy slopes. And tragically, he will not be the last.